Hello, this is Miss Kyler again, and I have some more principles of style for you that will help you use reader-centered language. So when your language is reader-centered, it is specific and clear, concise, simple, positive when possible, inoffensive, and sensitive to readers of other cultures and languages. So you need to use specific language. So the problem, if you see this, when you identify the problem, it would be vague language. The way you correct it is by making the language specific. For example, a computer in the lab isn't working properly. If I put that report into IT at CBC, they would look at me, laugh, and walk the other way. They wouldn't do anything about it because they're going to be having all these questions. I don't know what computer you're talking about and what lab and what's the problem. You just say it isn't working properly. So I need to be specific when I put in my request for them to repair something. So I can tell them in the usability lab, the monitor on computer 16 is flickering erratically. Okay, so we know what lab, which computer, and what the problem is. You want to use clear language. So these are some more problems. Make sure you put this down on your list of problems to recognize. Dangling modifiers, stacked nouns, faulty word choice, and inconsistent technical terminology. I want to focus especially on the first three. With dangling modifiers, the referent is absent from the sentence. Here's an example. Trying to put out the fire extinguisher broke. So it could be kind of comical. We can laugh a little bit, right? Ha ha ha. Is a fire extinguisher a cartoon figure with eyes and hands that's trying to put out the fire? Here, I come to save the day. Ouch! Right? It was trying to do the right thing and gallantly gave its life. So we need to fix it because we really know it wasn't the fire extinguisher that was trying to put out the fire. It was somebody else using the fire extinguisher, right? So here's the correct. As I was trying to put out the fire extinguisher broke. Darn. Okay? So when we add the correct referent, we fix the dangling modifier. Just need to add a word there about who really is doing the action. Okay, stacked nouns are also very confusing. When you stack nouns, you create ambiguity. Here's an example. The consultant suggested the manager allow time for a fitness center member evaluation. That's very confusing because we don't know who's supposed to be evaluating who. Does the fitness center evaluate the members, or do the members evaluate the fitness center? Or are they evaluating the fitness center members? So we don't know anything because it's very confusing. Okay, here's correct. The consultant suggested that the manager allow time to evaluate the members of the fitness center. Or, this is other way we can correct it, the consultant suggested that the manager allow time for the members to evaluate the fitness center. Depending on what the intended meaning is. Another big problem is when there's faulty word choice. Because remember, some words or phrases have more than one meaning. And when you use these unclear words, the reader won't be able to tell what you're meaning. So you need to make sure you use specific words instead of faulty word choice. Okay? For example, if we said, we were held up at the bank. That sounds kind of scary. Sounds like somebody held you at gunpoint. Or was it just the fact that the business at the bank delayed you? The business at the bank delayed us. That's a good way to fix it, right? Unless, of course, you really were held up at the bank by a bank robber. Then you might want to add the word bank robber there. The bank robber held us up. Here's another unclear or ambiguous word choice. The 7th graders will be presenting Shakespeare's Hamlet in the school auditorium on Friday at 8 p.m. Parents are invited to attend this tragedy. Using that word is pretty unfortunate because, well, we're probably trying to say that Hamlet is a tragedy, not a comedy, but we're also making it sound like whatever the 7th graders are going to do is going to be a bad thing, right? So the 7th graders will be presenting Shakespeare's Hamlet in the school auditorium at Friday at 8 o'clock p.m. They invite all parents to attend the performance. I want to say performance instead of tragedy because we don't want anyone to think we're saying anything bad about their 7th graders. Okay, redundant pairs. That's another thing that makes things unclear and not very concise. So it's when you have two words that mean pretty much the same thing, so we can use one instead of both. Null and void is something we hear all the time. They both mean exactly the same thing. Help or benefit both mean exactly the same thing. Choose one. You don't need both of them. Factual and true. Well, if I hope that if it's factual, that it is true, because they both mean the same thing. Revised and rewrote. Persevere and continue. Right? Just choose one. Don't need both of them. So get rid of the redundant pairs. So there's a difference between redundant pairs. Remember, the redundant pairs are two words that mean the same thing, with and or between them. Redundant modifier, the words are right close to each other. So it's when you have words that already are implied. End result. The result comes at the end, so you don't really need the word end because result already means end thing, right? Very unique. Never say something's very unique because it's either unique or it is not unique. There's no gradation of uniqueness. Absolutely free. There's nothing that's absolute. There's no thing that is not absolutely free. If it's free, it's free. If it's not, you're paying something, right? So it's just simply free. Completely eliminate. Well, either you eliminate it or you haven't eliminated it. It's still something there, right? Extremely important. Well, if it's important, it's important. We need to do something about it. If it's not important, then we'll forget about it, right? Here's some more redundant modifiers. So if you don't have to say something is round in shape, because round is a kind of shape, right? So we already imply that round is a shape. Or blue in color, or pounds in weight. Another one that's my favorite is free gift. If it's a gift, please don't make me pay for it. That would be very mean indeed. Okay, so free gift. True fact. If it's a fact, I hope it's true, or else I'm not going to believe on anything anymore. Okay, so redundant modifiers, redundant pairs, blah. Also, so you want to use familiar words. You don't want to make your words more fancy. They also use the term inflated language. So resist the temptation to use words that you don't normally use or that take a little longer for people to digest. We're not trying to dazzle people with our skills with language. We're trying to be clear and use just the right word for just the right situation. And I'm grading some papers and thinking they're trying to dazzle me with their language, but they're not being clear. They're not saying anything most of the time. Just a lot of words that don't mean anything. So make sure you use clear, easy to understand language. That will impress your readers much more. So this one's not very impressive to me. Pursuant to our conversation on December 15th, I decided we need to implement the resources we have at our disposal. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't like it. More reader focused. As we discussed on December 15th, I decided we need to use our company's resources. Okay, much easier. I understand it. I don't have to go back and read it 20,000 times before I get the full gist of it. Also, positive language is easier to understand. It's easier to understand what I'm supposed to do than what I'm not supposed to do. If I say, don't stop, what am I going to do? I'm going to stop and have to think about it. But if I say stop, then I know what I need to do. Or keep going instead of saying don't stop, right? Here's some examples. Do not discontinue taking the medicine until none of the medicine is left. Ugh, that's horrible. Not only that, but I have a stupid comma at the end. Ignore that, please. But do not discontinue. What am I really saying? I'm saying keep taking the medicine until all of it is gone. Take all the medicine, right? Don't leave any. Make it clear. If you tell someone what to do rather than what not to do, it's going to make a lot more sense. 14 team members were not absent. Woo, that sounds bad. And I'm just really trying to say the good thing. 14 members were present. Okay? Even though the area was experiencing severe thunderstorms, the planes were not late. That were not late really doesn't tell me anything. Even though the area was experiencing severe thunderstorms, the planes arrived on time. Much better. Also use inoffensive language. You don't want to have language that is sexist, so you want to use non-sexist. Instead of saying he or like the waitress, you want to say server. Instead of saying fireman, firefighter, that sort of thing. Inoffensive when referring to persons with disabilities. So you don't want to say the handicapped person. That's already making that person seem like they are in a category differently than other people. Instead of saying that, you might say the person with disabilities, or the person with the visually impaired. Okay. So now we have 15 things that we need to be able to identify and know how to fix for the style exam. Make sure you know each of these. Go back and review and practice them. There are some assignments in the lesson that will help you. I will give you feedback on that to help you. And then the practice exam will also be further emphasize what you need to know. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye.